Welcome to GearCheckGames. This is part 41 of our commentary for The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD. Last time, we finally set out into Ganon's tower, had rematches with 4 of the bosses from the previous dungeons, and, well, we unlocked a door, a very big and imposing looking door. And now we're in the second half of the tower, the more illusory, mysterious part. And it looks like we've got another big barrier to dispel, so
spooky horns.
It's gonna be a head scratcher, lads.
Yeah.
Just gotta go through every door until we figure it out.
Yeah.
That's the Zelda way.
I always like the music in this area. It's another one of those songs that's like kind of unsettling, but also just kind of relaxing to listen to.
I know those door sprites are supposed to be like Ganon pigs, but they kind of look like pit bulls to me.
I always thought they looked more like a dragon head.
Oh yeah. It's kind of got the sugar skull thing going on for it too.
Oh yeah, with the eyes. That's kind of cool.
It's really rad.
Yeah. So if you couldn't tell, there's something important about these torches.
But what?
Although, I will say this puzzle is kind of a red herring, because it, like, clearly highlights, like, you gotta hit the switches in this order, but, all this puzzle does is, unlock a way for you to get back to the Forsaken Fortress from this room.
Yeah.
Which is nice, like, as a convenience, but... And kind of, I guess, helps a little bit with the storytelling, but, ultimately, I did find this part kind of frustrating as a kid, because it's like, wait, the obvious solution isn't what I'm supposed to do?
Huh. I like that he's afraid too.
So wait, is this supposed to be here so you can return to the overworld?
What path did he take to get here?
Yeah, I was wondering that myself, Dan. How did the King of Red Lions get here? Like, he was in a little enclosed, like, pool of water in Hyrule Castle.
I took the back door.
I guess he can jump, though.
Can you imagine?
Well, no, he just dove under the water like he did to get down here.
Hey, King of Red Lions, how'd you get here? Like this. And he just, like, lifts out of the water, and she's got 2 long legs.
Oh, no!
That goes into my idea. Because I was going to say, what if he's like the bathtub from, oh gosh, what is it? Nightmare Before Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas? Oh, God.
He's got 4 tiny little legs underneath the water.
Uh-huh.
He's like, well, they're not very efficient.
If all else fails, jump into the death pit to solve the puzzle.
I was gonna say, I like how the quote-unquote puzzle that lets you just, like, go back to a place you've already been to, it's like, camera zooms in on the 4 lanterns in the correct order, and then King of Red Lions tells you specifically, hey, remember this for the room that's like 5 steps away. This is the solution of the puzzle, I'm telling you right now. Then you go into the other room, and the camera shows you once again the solution of the puzzle. But then the way to actually go forward is just like, just like jump in the death pit that always kills you, but not this time. And there's no indication that this is different from other death pits.
That's one case where showing a camera angle of the pit wouldn't have, like, solved the puzzle. It just would have gotten you thinking, like, oh, I guess something's important with this pit. But not, like, jump into the pit. You would just know that it was important.
Yeah, it took me a long time as a kid to figure that out, because I was a bit too logical.
Yeah, honestly, the sign doesn't even really help, because it tells you what to do down here, where you have to, every time you take out one of these Phantom Ganons, you have to go in the door that his sword hilt is pointing to. Most of the other ones will just lead you back to the hub room of this area of the tower. But some of them have, like, random enemies in them. I remember one day when I was pretty young, I got really bored one afternoon, and I tested every door and like made a map of it to find out which ones had stuff in them and which ones didn't.
It's like the
and at that point I didn't even know that certain rooms had stuff in them that weren't required.
Huh.
Are there like some of the rooms? Is there like a heart piece hidden in one of them?
No, it's
that would
just
be a dick move.
Yeah, I think it's just rooms of enemies.
It's like the oh god.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
It's like the Lost Woods part in Mario RPG. Except in Mario RPG, there are actually like items to get in the parts that you're not supposed to go through.
Yeah.
So you do just kind of have to bang your head against a wall, finding all the paths.
Yeah.
If you don't want to risk missing anything.
Yeah, thankfully the Wind Waker devs showed some restraint on that front.
God. But I was gonna say, the that sign that tells you what to do in this section, at the top of that other pit, it actually did more to confuse me than it did to help, because I was like, alright, there's a sign telling me to do this, so this must be how I progress. And there was that obvious sign that was like, or that obvious like wall that looked like you could get rid of it. So I was like, alright, so I gotta find something that lets me get through this wall. Or something like that. Like go through the doors in the right order or something.
Mm-hmm. Nice touch with the music in this area is that it slowly, the pitch like very slowly lowers the longer it goes on. And then when it loops, it like abruptly resets to like the original pitch. Just kind of a creepy little touch. Anywho, we just got the light arrows, which, if I'm not mistaken, the Wind Waker is perhaps their most overpowered incarnation.
Oh yeah.
Because if you decide to exit Ganon's tower after obtaining the light arrows, you can take these back into the overworld, and they will kill any enemy instantly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, even the big, Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, you don't even have to go to the overworld, because there's like a little enemy gauntlet after this.
And I just brought that up because when I was young, I actually did most of my exploration after I beat the story. Like, I just picked up my old save file and went back to solve puzzles. So I had the full inventory by then, including the light arrows.
Oh, you're not going to Hail Mary it into the wall.
No.
Wait, you have to use the Shadow Sword to do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the key.
That's cool.
Now this hallway right here is kind of the inverse of the tower climb from Ocarina of Time, where when you enter the tower, like the spiral staircase, you can hear like a faint organ off in the distance, and the closer you get to the top, the louder and more climactic it gets. Whereas in Wind Waker, the background piano music is loudest at the bottom of the staircase, and by the time you get to the top, it's just completely silent. And I think both of them are really good approaches for their respective games, because with Ocarina, that game was playing a little more straight, where it's, it's like the epic fantasy climax, as opposed to Wind Waker, where they've been making a big deal out of, like, Hyrule is old and kind of past its time. So the closer you get to the end of it, like, the more just silent and dead everything becomes.
Yeah, now it's kind of like eerie because there's just no sound.
Yeah.
These arrows are busted.
Although the comical explanation is that Ganondorf hears the little footsteps pattering up the stairs. It's just like, oh shit, gotta put the organ away. He's coming.
I can't have him walking in on me again. It was so embarrassing last time.
He's perfected the art of the pocket organ. He can miniaturize one thing in this world, and that's an organ.
He's just listening to a recording of his old organ sessions for old time's sake.
Ganon's greatest hits. By the way, once you go on, that door is the point of no return. Once you go in that door, you cannot go back. So save beforehand.
Oh. Nice. Is this a bedroom?
I don't know what this room is.
Yeah, Ganondorf has a moat around his bed. An ankle-high moat.
Yeah.
That seems inconvenient.
Maybe it's like a Zen thing.
Hashtag bring back Tetra's tan.
I feel like the HD version kind of hurt this scene because they made the curtains a lot more opaque. Especially for a bit coming up here. Like, it's just not as clear what's going on. Like, look at that. You can barely see him. It almost feels like unfinished.
Ocean man.
She's dreaming about Wind Waker. Hello? What's the fish man? Chopped liver? No, he's a fish man, you see.
Yeah.
Oh, he rhymed.
He's not a fish, but a fish man.
Yeah, Ganon is being rather cynical here. Well, now I can see because the curtain's out of the way. Also, where are your pupils?
They're hidden by his Neanderthal eyebrows.
Oh my god. Is Ganondorf the missing link?
Yes.
No, Link is the missing link.
God damn it. See, this scene right here was terrifying in the GameCube version. I mean, it's still... You can barely see it.
I kind of like it. Oh, what is he... Oh.
And now it's not terrifying anymore.
The disappointment.
Oh. Oh, this is where they get Ganon goo in Breath of the Wild.
He's got the stretchy Sonic the Werehog arms, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hyrule? That's a continent over.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, first stage of the final boss here, Puppet Ganon. Basically just cut the ropes with the boomerang to make him vulnerable.
I like that you can skip the rope cutting if you're really, like a really good shot.
Yeah, you can do that, but I didn't want to like run out of magic and be unable to replenish it, so...
Well, fortunately, Ganon is kind enough to send down bats at you that drop magic if you run out.
Yeah.
Magic and arrows.
Oh wow, one left.
And
I feel like
there's no fun in defeating Link if it's not a fair fight.
Oh god, this part. Where he just spins around so your boomerang is eternally playing catch up.
I feel like his arm attack is where they got the animation inspiration for the game Arms.
Yeah.
And its sequel coming out in 2020, Legs.
Oh yeah, I think I just took off the hero's charm.
Oh.
Because it's not showing me his health bar, and I guess I just realized that.
I love that every time you hit his strings, it sounds like a guitar.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a nice little audio detail, is it?
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Sounds like those little... Like, when you were in grade school, did you ever make, like, musical instruments out of, like, a tissue box and rubber bands?
Oh,
I think I did that in, like, kindergarten.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds like a sitar,
oh
but
my
that
god,
too.
you just reminded me of something. We made, like, little leprechaun traps in kindergarten to catch leprechauns.
Did it work?
The ones we made didn't, but I think the teacher put out like a mouse trap and it caught a leprechaun in like the sticky stuff. Yeah, he didn't survive the ordeal.
Exist.
But at least we got his gold. Well, the teacher got the gold.
Your school didn't have enough money to buy mouse traps, so they employed the children to make them for them.
Yeah, the teacher just had us make just pest traps.
Oh no, not the spin. Oh man.
Spin to win.
That is a really...
FBI, if you're listening, do something. Children are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was easy.
Wait, that's the boss?
Gosh. Yeah, that's it. I mean, the victory music is playing, right?
Uh-oh. Round 2?
Or is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like those noises. Stop making those noises.
Oh, now he's Puppet Goma.
Why did they have to give him googly eyes?
I was gonna say, I feel like the main factor that's making him just not intimidating at all is the fact that his eyes are never looking in the same direction.
Like, if they gave him more, like, dead-looking eyes, it might have worked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's full
It's
of...
not edgy enough.
He's full of bats?
Sure. That's the secret to Ganon's power.
He's either a
He's the goddamn Batman.
He's the Bat Whisperer.
So yeah, the trick with this, I would say this is probably the easiest phase of the boss fight.
Yeah.
Because really the only trick here is realizing that you can see where he's going to land using the reflection in the water. Because once you know, like, look at that. That probably took like less than a minute.
This is like the proto-Yeta fight from Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a cool fight.
Oh, this is like the worm in the third dungeon of Link to the Past.
Yeah, sorta. He's kind of got this segmented body.
Yeah, yeah. He even kind of moves.
It's also
like him.
by far the most annoying phase of the fight because
You're kidding.
he moves really quickly. I think he speeds up every time you hit him,
Yeah.
and you can't lock onto his tail.
Yeah.
You can, however, stun him if you shoot him in the face with a light arrow.
Oh.
But it's barely enough time to like line up a shot. So I usually just kind of go for broke and try to.
Well, I did find out very recently that you can stun him by hitting him in the face with bombs, and I think it stuns him for a bit longer.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
And now he's full
That's
of
neat.
the little pokey guys.
So it's like it's kind of. So in that case, it's in that instance, it's kind of reminiscent of like a Zelda 1 boss, or
Ooh,
I guess
nice.
maybe like a Link to the Past boss.
So yeah, one more hit, just one more,
Oh god.
and he decides to just get completely relentless.
What is
Look
that?
at that.
Is there a trick to this phase of the boss?
Well, you can probably
Try-
go up
try
on
to hit
the on the top platform so he can't hit you, but then it'll be even harder to hit his tail.
What
That's
the one in the? Oh yeah, I guess you could like use the grappling hook to get up on those little. I never thought to do that. Sorry, not the grappling hook, the hook shot.
The hook shot.
Jesus, this is a massacre.
Uh huh.
Honestly, it'd probably be better to just go into the center of the arena. Oh, there it is.
Well. See, it only took like 5 minutes.
Oh, that is a weird animation.
Uh huh. Yeah. For being a bit of a goofy design, Puppet Ganon is animated well, at least. And his string lives on.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it probably wasn't that hard to animate him, since he's just like a bunch of big shapes strung together, literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Almost kind of feels like something out of the N64 era. Not that he looks like bad, just, simple character designs like that were kind of brought about by limitations.
Uh-huh. I must go. My people need me. Did anyone else notice that he just kind of like shrunk at the tail end of that?
Probably. I love that they left the the bed sheets on Zelda.
Yeah.
They didn't have to animate Ganon actually holding her properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's a nice interlude in between the
What a thrill.
final. Yep, there it is. See, I thought about putting that in, but then I realized, we can do better than that.
Oh.
At least I thought we
Darkness
could.
and silence in the night. What a thrill.
Sonic Heroes!
Oh no. Now we gotta find all those seashells.
Actually, the real reason I didn't put it in because it's too short.
Oh.
Like it barely got through the opening verse.
Well, isn't that how the one on the ladder works? Or do they
No,
sing
the
the entire
ladder at
song?
least
The
gets
ladder
like-
one goes through the whole song.
Oh god.
That's a long
Mhm.
ladder.
Yeah,
Russia builds big ladders.
in caves,
God,
in the middle of the jungle.
If they did that with this game, just like 5 minutes of climbing up this rope, that would just like kill Link's arms.
Uh-huh. I love the scale of this area. I know it's just kind of a big empty room, but it's still like...
Is this room supposed to be a tower?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're climbing up through the rafters to get to the rooftop. I don't know. As a kid, I was always intrigued by like when you're in a theater or a gym and you can see those little maintenance walkways up in the ceiling. Like I always wanted to go up there, but
the catwalks, as they call them.
Yeah, but alas, I never achieved my dream. So instead, I'll have to live out my fantasy in the world of video games.
Why did they even put those little grabby guys here?
I don't know.
Oh.
To give Link some company. So yeah, if you fall down or if you just want to leave and like get back up here quickly, I mean you can't leave unless you like save and quit because it'll spawn you outside of this room. But basically, you can get back up here by jumping in like one of the lower pots.
So what you're saying is that door was not in fact the point of no return.
Well, it's the point of no return, like unless you save and quit.
If you do that, do you have to fight Puppet Ganon again?
No, he stays defeated.
God,
the only thing that you can't like save over is the final boss, which we will be seeing next time in the final episode of the Wind Waker HD. So we hope to see you for that.
Oh boy.
Get out of here.
Bye-bye.